Well, I've got two great bull riders here that we're going to be talking to, and they are on the rodeo trail, hitting it hot for Cowboy Christmas, Cody Teel and Trey Benton. Guys, I just want to thank y'all a lot for taking the time. I know y'all have been hot on the trail and traveling a lot, so we appreciate you taking the time to talk to us and kind of let us know what's been going on. And I know both of y'all have come back from some injuries this year. Cody, I know you had a broken arm and surgery, and Trey, you broke your eye socket, and y'all both come back really strong. So just to kind of start off a little bit, Trey, why don't we just talk about you first? I mean, I know you had the broken eye socket. You came back in Lufkin strong, your first event at CBR, and won that. Why don't you talk a little bit about what it took just to come back from that? And it seems like you didn't have any trouble coming back.
Really just the anticipation of sitting out really gets to a guy when that's all they do all year long is go to rodeos. So I was actually came back a little earlier than the doctor said to, but I just couldn't stay down too much longer, and I was just ready to go. I was hungry, I guess you could say, and it worked out pretty good for my first event back.
Well, I would think it did. I was there, and you had some awesome rides, and you didn't look like you had any rust at all to knock off. Now, did you do any practice bulls?
My plan was not to get on a few practice bulls, but I ended up just going straight to Lufkin. I actually called Cicely a few days before and asked if she had any spots open, and she happened to have one open. And so I just grabbed my bag and just left the house and went over there. It was kind of a last-minute deal.
Well, do you think that maybe helped? You didn't have really time to think about it. You just got back on and do what you already know how to do.
Well, yeah, that helped a bunch, too, not thinking about it, but just the fact of just being able to go back and getting on bulls again was enough for me.
Well, Cody, we know you were out also. We know you had an injury last year about the same time, and you went on and won the championship last year, and this year you're on a good track to maybe do that again. Was it any tougher coming back this year, or did it make it a little bit easier? Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, I'm on Trey's now. But, yeah, last year with a rough leg, I didn't have to get a caster or nothing. So, I mean, I was out for a month, and this year with the arm, it was kind of a more serious deal. Just a time deal, I was out 2.5 months. And I finally did come back, just started plucking along, and it was making it work. And then I broke my jaw May 31st at Hugo, Oklahoma. And you just keep going with it. It's never easy, but you just kind of learn to deal with it over time with all the injuries I've had. You just really, there's nothing you can do but just accept it and move forward with it.
Now, how do you feel right now? Are you feeling pretty healthy right now?
I feel good. Jaw's it's tender to touch and pretty sensitive. My teeth are, but I mean, as far as riding, it doesn't affect me none. So as long as that's good, I'm good with that. So I still got some wires, rubber bands in it, but it's all good overall.
We're using one phone now. I guess, do y'all want to try a speaker and see if we can get y'all both on at the same time and see if we can hear or not?
Sure. Well, we can switch it back and forth. You got a question for Trey? He can hear you right now. He's on my phone. I can still hear y'all. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, we can do that then. Okay. All right, that'll work. Well, I know y'all have been traveling a lot. Why don't you, Trey? Why don't you tell us a little bit about where y'all been the last week or two? Some of the rodeos that y'all been to.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
I was just saying, why don't you tell us a little bit about some of the rodeos that y'all have been to in the past week or two?
Well, we had a few days right before the 4th of July run. We started off in Pecos Wednesday, and we went over there, and then we had maybe a couple more days off. It kind of wasn't enough to go home, so we went up to Colorado Springs and hung out with some family friends until we had to head up to Cody Extreme. And I started off the 4th, and then after that, it's a knockdown, drag out of driving. We went from Cody Extreme to Livingston, Montana, and then from Livingston we drove all night and day to St. Paul, Oregon, and then we had Molalla, Oregon the same day, the same night, so we had to kind of hustle over there. And as soon as we left Molalla, we had to drive all night and day back for Red Lodge, Montana, which was not exactly how you would plan a rodeo to go. You know, we walk up to the rodeo in sunglasses, and it's the sun shining, and time the saddle bronc rolls around, it's storming, and it's hailing, and it's a flat.
Trey, we got you back?
Hello. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we were right there.
I'm sorry, we're in the middle of Wyoming. We don't have good service out here at all.
That's okay. That's okay. We understand. We won't keep you for too long, so I know it's tough with the signals and stuff. But you had just talked about you got in there with sunglasses. It was nice and sunshiny, and then the saddle bronc started, and then it started to storm. That's where we lost you.
Yes, ma'am. I mean, Howdy got a text on his phone that said flash flood, like hail the size of marbles. I mean, it was ridiculous. And the way they delayed the rodeo is we weren't going to be able to make the Cody rodeo unless we left right then and there. So we just kind of had to do what we had to do and turn out our bulls over there. And we had to run through the hail and the rain, get in a truck, everybody haul butt, me, Howdy Cloud, Cody Teel, Trevor Kastner, Cody Whitney, and Friday Wright. We all kind of convoyed it to Cody, and which it was sun shining over there, and we were able to get all our bulls over there. So I guess you could say it worked out. Not like we planned it, though.
Yeah, that probably disappointed the people there, though. That we're looking forward to maybe seeing y'all ride, but I understand with the weather like that. Did y'all have any problem with your equipment? Was it pretty wet or anything from the storms, or were y'all able to keep it dry?
My boots and everything, and my jeans and shirt, they were pretty stoked. They were finally starting to dry out a little bit by the time we got to Cody. But I mean, you can't think of stuff malfunctioning like that or just how it happens. You just kind of go with it, and it's either going to work or it ain't.
Okay. Well, why don't you switch the phone over to Cody for a second, and we'll talk to him for just a minute. He can kind of tell us how y'all have been doing on some of the rodeos.
Okay.
Hello.
Hey, Cody. I was going to let you share
Hey.
a little bit about how y'all have been doing at some of the rodeos. How have y'all been riding and at the events?
Yeah, after the Cody Extreme Bulls, I've just kind of had a little dry run on my draw. I was like, rode my bull at Livingston and then booked off at St. Paul, then rode my bull at Malala. And yesterday at Cody, I rode my bull there, and it's been the 70s everywhere I've been, so just haven't been in the money at none of them, but staying on all my bulls. I feel good and riding good now, just waiting on getting the right bull to win on, just being able to take advantage of it whenever I get it. That's just the case now, is when I get a good bull, you just got to stay on and take advantage of it.
Right, just kind of the luck of the draw, as they say.
Right, at this point, that's what's been kind of getting me this week.
So how's Trey been riding? How's he been doing?
He's going to give 77 in Livingston, and then at St. Paul, he's 85 over there, and was sitting pretty deep over there to get a good check at that rodeo. So, all in all, we're doing good, and Howdy's placing good at Livingston. I think he ended up second over there last night. So everybody in the truck's plucking along, getting some money everywhere we go.
Well, good. Well, Howdy's traveling with y'all too?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, tell him we said howdy. So where are y'all heading right now?
We're on the way to Oklahoma City, Utah tonight, and we'll all ride there tonight. And then Trey and Howdy will go on down to Arizona for tomorrow. Just fly to Arizona. Between 2 rodeos over.
Well, it looks like we're not going to be able to get them probably right now, so we'll maybe try to call them in the next couple of days if they have a time to call back, because we want to talk a little bit about the CBR World Championship coming up. Right now, Cody is sitting number 7 in the CBR standings. Trey's number 6 in the CBR standings, and that is July 22nd and 23rd in Cheyenne. So just follow us, and we'll try to keep you updated on the scores and what's going on during that event. Well, anyway, sorry we didn't get to talk to him a little bit longer. We had some other questions we wanted to ask him, but with traveling in the different areas, I know it's hard with a cell phone signal, but we do thank them for taking the time out to talk to us when they did, and just want to thank you all for listening to the interview, and we'll try to get more to you a little bit later. Thanks a lot, and this is Tammie Webster with Bull Riding Rodeo Connection.